Good evening, everyone, and a very hearty welcome. Thank you for being a part of the NALCICON 2020. It clearly is the biggest, largest, and the most awaited virtual cancer congress in India. The best part of the conference is that we very strongly felt that the only way lung cancer can be dealt is with the pulmonologist and the oncologists coming together. So it was really humbling to see how, at a very short notice at times, one of the biggest names in the country, in the world, actually, as you will see from the program, have come together to come and deliver lectures. We had some fantastic initiations today. We'll hear a lot more Suresh Lamalingam and Daniel Chan, Tony Mock from all over the world. We have kept the focus on pulmonologists and oncologists. And as Dr. Parmesh said, the crux of the matter is early intervention, screening, tobacco prevention. But yes, there is a lot of technology development which is changing the science, and we'll hear as the days go through. I shall very swiftly say that I am deeply touched that people like Anjali Istwal, who is one of the key anchors for NDTV today, a blogger, a video blogger, a travel blogger, and a health enthusiast, very heartwarmingly accepted to come and hold the inauguration fort. I'll hand it over to her without any further ado. Thank you, Anjali.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rodgi, and thank you all for inviting me. And let me tell you, this is a privilege to be amongst one of the brightest, a meeting of brightest minds and the most brilliant minds in the country. And I hope now my video is straight. So that shows that I'm clearly not fit to be here amongst you. But, as a journalist, I understand it is one of the most difficult things to send message across to an opinionated audience. And that message, no matter how good it is for the benefit of the people, but if the public is opinionated, it is very difficult to convince them. And that is why maybe the doctors who the people trust, they respect, they could be better messengers than anyone. But still, it is a common man who has to realize that it is his own preventable actions that are increasing his risk to cancer, and this message should be simple, and it should reach the masses. It should be beyond the medical community. And, who better to take this entire message to the masses than one of the most known faces amongst the masses, one who has the reach to all the masses and has an impactful reach. And that is one of the biggest icons of our industry, Mr. Akshay Kumar. He will also be joining us. So do we have him with us?
So he's already logged in. He's just coming online, Anjali. But,
okay.
Just give
as soon as he joins us, I'm sure we can start our Q&A with him. But I must say that as I was telling you, the whole idea of...
yes, Anjali, he's here.
Yes. Hello, Mr. Kumar. How are you?
Hi, Anjali. How are you? Hi, everybody. Hello, everyone.
Well, we are really privileged to have you here. You've taken out time to speak to us. Thank you very much for that.
No, thank you. First of all, thank you very much for calling me. And I got this opportunity to talk to everyone. Yeah. Everything is on. Don't worry. They're trying to tell me how to, well, I'm not that good at operating this whole thing, but I managed.
Right. The COVID times have taught us new things. Everyone has learned new things. I will jump straight into it. I know your time is very important and very precious. So, can I call you Akshay? I hope you don't mind.
No, you can call me anything.
So, Akshay, have you ever experimented with smoking?
जी बिल्कुल देखिए क्यूरियोसिटी किसे नहीं होती है दोस्तों के साथ चुपचाप कभी बहुत बचपन की पहले की बात है तो सिगरेट मतलब एक बार किया था but of course I would say you should be smart enough to not get into the habit and make it an addiction. Luckily ना मुझे उसका कभी टेस्ट पसंद आया ना ही मेरे दोस्त उनको भी कभी है ना, वो कभी सिगरेट के पीछे पड़े। तो अपने आप ही मेरी इच्छा कभी हुई नहीं। एंड आई वाज वन ऑफ द लकी वंस हु नेवर गॉट इनटू दिस। एंड बस वो बहुत बिगिनिंग में, बचपन में एक बार या दो बार कभी किया था, बस इतना ही हुआ।
when
सॉरी,
you are
मैं हिंदी में ही जवाब दूंगा।
बिल्कुल कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, मैं भी आपसे हिंदी में ही पूछ लेती हूँ। आप लकी रहे कि आपको उसका स्वाद पसंद नहीं आया, आपको बेस्वाद लगी, आपको उसको पीने में अनकंफर्टेबल लगी?
ऐसे भी मैं क्या कहूँ, ये कहता हूँ ना, और सच कहूँ तो मुझे अपनी सेहत से बहुत ज्यादा प्यार है, मैं समझता हूँ। और हर इंसान को भी अपनी सेहत से सबसे ज्यादा प्यार होना चाहिए। वो कहते हैं ना कि अगर आपकी सेहत अच्छी हो तो आपके आजू बाजू जितने भी लोग हैं उनकी भी आप सेहत, उनका ध्यान रख सकते हैं। जैसे कि आप अगर प्लेन में सफर करते हैं तो एयर होस्टेस आके बताती है कि इन केस ऑफ इमरजेंसी सबसे पहले जब ऑक्सीजन मास्क आएगा पहले अपने आप को लगा लो, पहले अपना ध्यान रख लो, फिर बाजू वाले के लगवा देना। तो I think that is the most important thing, to take care of yourself at this kind of a time. That's it.
Absolutely right. ये बताइए कि आप शायद यूथ थे, फिर भी आप अपने यंग एज में इसकी तरफ नहीं गए, लेकिन बहुत से यूथ हैं जो चले जाते हैं। तो आपको लगता है जिस तरह की बैन ऑन एडवर्टाइजिंग है या पैकेट के ऊपर जिस तरह की तस्वीरें हम डालते हैं, उसकी वजह से यूथ के अंदर डिस्करेज होता है स्मोकिंग?
I don't think banning smoking completely can ever be the answer. Important है, मेरे हिसाब से it is important to educate people about what it is. अब तक स्मोकिंग के इल इफेक्ट्स पर कितने ही एड्स बन चुके हैं। मैं भी ऐड किया हुआ, मैंने भी ऐड किया है। अगर आप थिएटर पे जाएंगे तो मेरा ऐड चलता है नो स्मोकिंग के ऊपर, और साथ में ही पैड पे भी आता है वो आप पता नहीं आपने देखा है कि नहीं, अंजलि जी, आपने वो मेरा ऐड देखा है कभी?
नहीं, पर अगली बार मैं पिक्चर देखने जाऊंगी तो टाइम पे पहुंचूंगी, आपका ऐड जरूर देखूंगी।
अब पता नहीं कब थिएटर खुलेंगे जल्दी खुल ही जाने चाहिए, लेकिन तो मैं ये कहूँगा द पावर जो है it lies with you, as I think self control is the only answer to it. You have to have your own self control, and you have to understand, and you have to be educated. You have to know about it completely, what things it can happen, and that's how it can be removed, rather than just not banning. क्योंकि अगर बैनिंग करोगे तो ठीक है, कुछ लोग नहीं पियेंगे, लेकिन जिनको पीना है वो गलत आदत में है, वो कर ही लेंगे कैसे ना कैसे करके।
The lure of that is banned is also very strong when things are banned. अक्षय, ये बताइए कि आप कितना जरूरी मानते हैं हेल्थ, एक हेल्दी लाइफस्टाइल जीना, और अपने जो यंग फैंस हैं उनको इंस्पायर कैसे करते हैं इसी के लिए?
मैं सच में मानता हूं कि जान है तो जहां है। ये पैंडेमिक के वक्त भी, दौरान, इस समय भी, इस समय का एग्जांपल ले लो आप। वैक्सीन तो हमारे पास है नहीं इस वक्त फिलहाल, लेकिन जब आएगी सो आएगी। ऐसे समय पे एक ही चीज है जो आपके काम में आएगी, और वो है आपकी इम्यून सिस्टम। तो so there's no better way of saying that nothing is more important than your own health, and which I've been promoting since beginning of my career, which I've been trying to tell people. There are many things which you have to follow, and कुछ बेसिक्स चीजें होती हैं जो मैं हमेशा लोगों को कहते आया हूँ, जैसे कि शाम का खाना जो है, इतने सारे डॉक्टर्स हैं, आई होप दे एग्री विद, कि जितने जल्दी हो सके सूरज ढलने से पहले खा लो। मतलब बहुत, I think this is one of the most healthiest habit. It is more healthier than even I would say आप एक्सरसाइज कभी कभी होता है कि आप नहीं कर पाते हो, लेकिन अगर आप ये आदत को अपने रखोगे कि 6:30 बजे आप खाना खा लोगे शाम का, जो कि मैं समझता हूँ बहुत लोग कहते हैं नामुमकिन है, हो नहीं सकता है। खास करके मैं तो उनको यही एग्जांपल देता हूँ, मैं इस इंडस्ट्री में हूँ। क्या हो गया? I'm there?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So मैं तो सबको यही कहता हूँ कि मेरे यहाँ तो 12-12, 14-14 घंटे काम करते हैं हम लोग, लेकिन फिर कैसे ना कैसे टाइम जरूर निकाल लेता हूँ कि मेरा घर से खाना आ जाता है और 6-6:15 खाना खा लेता हूँ। मुझे लोग ये भी कहेंगे कि अक्षय यू आर एन एक्टर, तेरा तो घर से खाना आ जाता है, लेकिन मैं सच कहूँ जब मैं एक्टर नहीं भी था तब भी मैं जल्दी खा लेता था। मेरा खाना अगर मेरे पास कुछ होता भी नहीं था तो उस वक्त 20 पैसे के 30 पैसे के 3-4 केले मिल जाते थे, केला खा लेता था। और लेकिन कैसे ना कैसे करके कोशिश करके 6:30-7 बजे तक खाना खा लेता हूँ।
बिल्कुल, और बहुत स्टडीज अब ऐसी आ गई हैं जो कि बल्कि कैंसर को लिंक भी करती हैं। आप किस टाइम पे खाना खाते हैं, कितना वक्त फास्टिंग करते हैं, सबको लेकर के बहुत चीजें कही जाती हैं। बट अक्षय, आप डॉक्टर्स के बीच में हैं और वो डॉक्टर्स जो कैंसर की लड़ाई लड़ रहे हैं, आप उनको कोई मैसेज देना चाहेंगे?
मैं उनसे मैसेज लेना चाहूंगा, देना तो नहीं चाहूंगा। मैं क्या उनको मैसेज दूंगा, लेकिन मैं उनसे ही कुछ पूछना चाहता हूँ कि ये जो जल्द खाने की आदत है, और क्या ये गलत आदत है या सही आदत है?
So,
Do you want me to take that on, Anjali?
yeah.
Yes,
Nitish,
sure,
please go
Nitish,
ahead.
please. And I also want to know this because all this fasting, intermittent fasting, autophagy, ये सब जो चल रहा है आजकल, कितना सच है?
ना, मैं वो फास्टिंग की बात नहीं कह रहा। मेरा सवाल यही है कि जल्दी खाना, टाइम पे खाना। आप दिन के एक ब्रेकफास्ट होता है, एक लंच होता है, एक डिनर होता है, आप लेकिन सही टाइम पे खा लो और अपने पेट को जो है कम से कम सोने से पहले 4-4.5 घंटे का वक्त मिलना चाहिए आपको। क्या वो सही है, गलत है?
Ji, first of all, good afternoon. I'm Dr. Nitesh Rautigi, and one of the organizers. थोड़ा मेरी खुद की तबीयत खराब है आज, तो मैं हॉस्पिटल से हूँ। बट मैं आपका जवाब आप ही के तरीके से देना चाहूँगा। हमने सोचा कि फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में से किससे बात करें हेल्थ के बारे में। 10 जने में 9 जनों का नाम आपके बारे में आया सीधा। सो व्हाट दैट शोज, एंड हम साइंटिस्ट हैं, डॉक्टर्स आर मोस्टली साइंटिस्ट, रिसर्चर्स होते हैं। व्हाट दैट शोज इज कि आपने जो भी किया है पिछले 15, 20, 25 सालों में, इट्स एन एग्जाम्पल फॉर योर सेल्फ। एंड अगर आप कहते हैं टाइम से खाना आपके लिए ठीक है, तो वो एक एग्जाम्पल है कि वो हेल्दी हैबिट है। अंजलि ठीक कह रही हैं, अब बहुत सारी ऐसी रिसर्च आ रही है जिसमें इंटरमिटेंट फास्टिंग या टाइम से खाना एक ही बात है। आपने गैप दे दिया, आप टाइम से सोए, आप 10 घंटे सोए, 4 घंटे खाली पेट रहे, तो फास्टिंग हो गई। इज शोइंग बेनिफिट्स इन द राइट काइंड ऑफ पेशेंट्स इन द राइट वे। बट मोर देन टाइम से खाना, ये जो आपकी रेजिमेंटेड आदत है जो हम सब एज चिल्ड्रन देख रहे हैं कि एक्सरसाइज करूंगा, काम करूंगा, खुश रहूंगा, हंसूंगा, टाइम से खाना खाऊंगा, is I think what really inspires us as doctors. When we wanted to ask you what can we as a medical community, as oncologists, do so that दुनिया में लंग कैंसर कम हो और हेल्दी लाइफस्टाइल बढ़े। हम आपके लिए क्या कर सकते हैं?
मेरे लिए क्या कर सकते हैं?
हम एज डॉक्टर्स एक अक्षय कुमार की एक आवाज को कैसे बुलंद कर सकते हैं कि हम लोगों को जाके बोलें कि अक्षय कुमार अगर इतना हेल्दी रह सकता है, आप उसके आधे कैसे हेल्दी के लिए रह सकते हैं, एम्पलीफाई कर सकते हैं।
मैं टू बी ऑनेस्ट, मैं अभी भी क्वेश्चन आपका नहीं समझा हूँ। मतलब बेसिकली मेरे लिए क्या कर सकते हैं, या मैं तो सिर्फ यही,
वी आर इंस्पायर्ड बाय यू, दैट्स ऑल वी आर सेइंग। इट्स जस्ट इंस्पायर्ड बाय यू एंड वी आर रिफ्लेक्टिंग दैट।
सॉरी,
वी आर इंस्पायर्ड बाय यू, आपसे इंस्पायर्ड है और उसको एम्पलीफाई कर रहे हैं। ठीक है,
आपका डेडिकेशन और डिसिप्लिन बहुत इंस्पायरिंग है, ये कह रहे हैं।
हाँ, मैं मतलब क्या है कि मैंने जिंदगी में अपने लाइफ को बहुत ही सीधे रखा है, कॉम्प्लिकेट करने की कोशिश नहीं की है। ज्यादा मैं टेक्नोलॉजी के अंदर नहीं घुसता हूँ और अपनी लाइफ बहुत सीधी सिंपल रखी हुई है। देखिए, आज मैं बहुत लकी मानता हूँ अपने आप को। कैसे ना कैसे पूरी, मैं कहूँ कि सारी इंडस्ट्री बंद है, लेकिन मैं शूटिंग कर रहा हूँ, स्कॉटलैंड में हूँ, यहाँ बैठ के शूटिंग कर रहा हूँ। मैंने अपने प्रोड्यूसर से कहा था, देखो काम तो करना ही पड़ेगा, कैसे ना कैसे। देखो, ये नहीं है कि मैं एक्टर हूँ, लेकिन मेरे साथ मेरे 300 वर्कर्स भी हैं जो मेरे साथ काम कर रहे हैं। आज पुलिस भी है जो काम कर रही है, डॉक्टर्स हैं जो लगे हुए रहते हैं, अपना घर छोड़ के जाते हैं। तो हम एक्टर अपने आप को क्यों एक कमाल का ये समझें कि हम घर बैठेंगे, मेरे पास पैसे, मैं आराम से घर बैठ सकता हूँ, ऐसी कोई नहीं है। लेकिन काम करने निकलना ही पड़ेगा, काम करने जाना ही पड़ेगा। और अपने आप को एक हेल्दी लाइफ में रखना ही पड़ेगा। आज
जी
ये कोविड यही सिखाता है कि अगर आपकी इम्यूनिटी स्ट्रांग, आप निकल सकते हो इसके चीज से भी निकल सकते हो। एंड तो बस मैं अपनी जिंदगी बहुत बहुत सिंपल रखी हुई है, कॉम्प्लिकेशन रखता नहीं हूँ, ज्यादा
जी
ज्यादा ज्यादा किसी से बात नहीं करता, बस अपने काम में मगन रहता हूँ।
बहुत आपका मैसेज बहुत बढ़िया है एंड हम उम्मीद करते हैं कि ये लोगों तक अच्छी तरीके से पहुंचेगा। You know, we want to thank you, and I would just like to invite Dr. Rodgi once to say a few words to convey our appreciation to you.
No, really, Mr. Akshay Kumar, wholeheartedly from the entire team of oncologists of the country, we thank you for showing us how healthy lifestyle can make waste. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Okay, thank
Bye,
you.
Mr.
Bye,
Kumar.
everyone. Bye.
Well, let's take this forward. Now we have a very interesting panel discussion. Now, you know, the link between smoking and lung cancer, it's very well established. There are multiple studies. There is a ton of data about it. There are pages and pages of statistics, figures that we as journalists keep researching, and we keep getting to know. It just keeps getting reinforced that smoking and lung cancer are linked. Then why is it so prevalent? Why is it socially acceptable? Why is it almost unregulated? There are very few laws concerning smoking. So this is the conversation that we are going to have right now. And I'm joined by a very eminent panel. Let me introduce them. I have with me Dr. Pavan Gupta. He is one of the most renowned experts in cancer care. He is in the forefront of the fight against cancer and spreading awareness in India. Also joining us is Mr. Prashant Bhushan, senior lawyer and activist. Mr. Suhail Seth, the man who wears many hats. He's a columnist, author, actor, and an admin. He's also there in this conversation. And Dr. Pankaj Chaturvedi, he's a cancer surgeon known for his work on tobacco control, building a strong campaign for tobacco victims, and has helped influence laws. All of you are very welcome to all of you. And the first question that I want to ask is to Dr. Pankaj Chaturvedi. You know, it's a very simplistic question that I'm going to be asking, but it is probably the foremost question on the minds of the general public. If we all know it is so bad, then why is there not a complete ban on it? Is it unrealistic? Is it utopian for me to even think of it?
So I think Akshay Kumar already answered that question that you're asking me. See, we have to be very pragmatic and scientific. So whenever we talk about any issue, there is a demand side and there is a supply side. When we say that ban, that means supply side, you are saying that we will stop it immediately. But what we don't realize that nearly 26 crore people in India are using tobacco. And therefore, to achieve that utopian, you may call it, or something that we should all aim for 50% of cancers in India, is a reduction in such a way that eventually nobody demands tobacco, and the industry, rather than taking the, putting the farmers and the livelihood of vendors as reason, they themselves will diversify because there is no demand.
Absolutely. But let's bring in Dr. Gupta here. If banning is not possible, there is a campaign or some sort of activity that can be done for cessation of smoking and trying to increase that habit amongst people. Do you think a scientific program can be brought in? I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Hello, sorry. So, Dr. Gupta, do you think a scientific cessation program can be brought in, and how can you amplify the success of people who want to quit smoking?
Thank you, Anjali, and Pankaj has very well said. You see, number one, I want to put it categorically to everyone: tobacco is a disease, and it's just not an habit. And there is scientific evidence to say that it is a disease, that is a pathology, and that is a very proper system, a scientific system for helping these patients who are diseased to quit tobacco. And the biggest problem in the society is the lack of awareness and the lack of skill with the doctors also. So this system has to be integrated with the normal healthcare system that is existent in the country. Every doctor, see, if you go to any doctor, every doctor is seeing tobacco related patients every day. So they have to be treated and they have to be taught, as Akshay also said, and also Pankaj has said, empowering the people. Empowering the people implies that empowering the doctor and empowering the general public. That is what is required. And that is where we started this campaign, Save the Youth campaign. And that integrates everything. You know, it is amplifying by technology. You see, as an individual, it is very difficult to reach out to the people. It is amplifying with the technology, and that is why we came up with an app, the first such app in the world, which has got a complete protocol based tobacco cessation system, which can be adopted by every healthcare personnel. And then educating them is one very important, and that is where we came up with an education system, teaching the doctors, teaching the public. And we came up with the marshal's course, the ambassador course, the specialist course, all these courses for the first time in India, to actually skill up the people, the skill up the doctors, and then get influences in the society so that it can reach out the teachers, the social people. Everyone needs to be influenced. I need, Anjali, people like you, like Akshay, to come up with the message that yes, what to do when you see a patient who is a person who is taking tobacco. And that is why we need that amplification.
Absolutely. And, we know that, as you are telling us, that smoking is bad for us, and you're trying ways and means and even technology to help people to understand that. But let me bring in a legal mind here, Mr. Bhushan. We all know it's a murderous stick, that cigarette. But if the doctors are so against it, and if there are studies to back it up, why can't we build up a legal framework that, discourages the production, sale, or consumption of cigarettes? We don't really see any strong legal framework here.
Well, there has been a lot of progress in laws which have been brought in to discourage or restrict advertising, even surrogate advertising of tobacco. The COPTA Act of 2003 brought in a lot of very useful and positive restrictions. For example, now there is a compulsory requirement to advertise with that very horrible photographs on the cigarette packs.
Yes.
But unfortunately, this is being circumvented by people who are selling, these tobacco shops are selling loose cigarettes, especially to young people.
Very good.
So, in fact, in my view, there needs to be a licensing requirement for at least the people who sell tobacco. Today, there is no such licensing requirement for people who sell tobacco. We need to have licenses so that these people can be checked. They don't circumvent the law by this kind of method. Plus, you see, there is also surrogate advertising on a very large scale by the tobacco industry. For example, behind auto rickshaws, you often see these posters saying that I am a tobacco farmer, please save me, there is a lobby out to kill me, etc. And please, so this is clearly surrogate advertising by the tobacco companies. If you see who is behind these posters, obviously it is not the tobacco farmer, it is the tobacco industry. Earlier, many years ago, I had filed a petition against this Made for Each Other contest, which used to be organized by Wills. Correct. That was also surrogate advertising, and that was trying to promote cigarettes in a very subtle way by trying to suggest that it makes you smart and handsome and likable to the other sex and so on. There is also there are lots of kinds of surrogate advertising. For example, for liquor companies, there are now products, or even tobacco companies which bring out products which are unrelated to tobacco and advertise those products by, of course, using the brand name of that tobacco company. or that cigarette company. So these are all being circumvented now under the food safety act. There is a ban on tobacco being used in any food as a food additive. Yet gutka is being sold. Gutka is being sold. We know that it's a very, very serious problem in this country, but it is being sold, it is being advertised, and once this mixing of gutka with pan masala was banned, they started selling these 2 packs separately. 1 pack of gutka, 1 pack of pan masala, etc. So therefore, all this needs to be enforced. Unfortunately, you see, when it comes to enforcing these laws, we have made a number of good laws, but we are not being able to enforce them because of the influence of the tobacco industry. So we need to be able to enforce these laws.
If I can add a little, Dr. Prashantji, the important fact is that the laws are in place, implementation is lacking, and not because of the tobacco company, but because of the people are unaware of the laws. So it is basically educating and empowering the local people, which is important.
Okay, right? Awareness campaigns need to be done. That
empowerment campaign, training and teaching the common people, the doctors, the teachers, that is what is important. Once people, if a large group of people come together against this tobacco company, then definitely the government will listen to us.
Right. So we will need a mass movement. We will need a mass movement.
Yes.
Mr. Suhail Seth, what do you think? All the steps that have been taken till now are only damaging the advertising industry revenue and probably not as effective as far as the message of stop smoking is concerned?
So I don't know if it's the fear of Prashant or the fear of Nitesh, but I've given up smoking after 37 years on the 22nd of September.
You remember the date?
Yeah, I'll always remember. So I'm now a non-smoker, smoke-free person. But
how many days?
1 minute, Dr. Gupta, I'll rattle your window when I need your advice. But having said that, I think there are 4 important points, 2 of which Prashant made. Please remember, cigarettes is only a blip in the tobacco consumption in India. There are non-cigarette forms of tobacco which are being consumed, which are completely unregulated and which have political patronage behind them. And I'll give you those examples. Prashant touched upon gutka and pan masala. You have the bidi, the whole bidi movement, which is completely, owned. A large part of the bidi market is owned by politicians. As far as the awareness campaign is concerned, there are 3 things that are happening incorrectly. Prashant touched upon the fact that there are no regulations in terms of implementation. Some of the rules are also stupid, saying within 500 meters you cannot have a shop. Now that shop sells multidisciplinary things, so it also squeezes in tobacco products. Number 2, we don't have a national awareness campaign which economically punishes people for the use of tobacco. What did Michael Bloomberg do when he took over as the mayor in New York City? What he did was he made tobacco impossible in terms of affordability. That created a decline year on year of almost 12 to 14%, which, by the way, Anjali, is a huge amount. In India, what we've done is, and Prashant talked about the law and talked about the fact that there are enough laws, there are robust laws in India, but we don't have people either like Prashant or fellow activists like him or lawyers who will actually take on the tobacco lobby. And when I say tobacco lobby, I include the cigarette and non-cigarette companies. The biggest mistake you make is you make this out between cigarettes versus the rest. Cigarettes is a small fraction of the consumption of tobacco in this country. Number 2, we must have, and certain countries have implemented it. If you're a smoker, forget your health insurance, your cost of health goes up substantially. So if you go into a hospital for any healthcare treatment, that treatment is given to you at unaffordable rates. So bottom line, Anjali, is you will not deter a smoker unless you make it economically impossible and emotionally warm. I'll give you the reason why I gave up. I gave up because I have a 10-month-old daughter, and my mother, Nitesh, has been so kind to help her. My mother is going through a terrible round of cancer. So I said to myself, I said, why am I bringing this upon me? Has it been difficult? It's been impossible, but one has to do it. Now, someone like me who knows the harms continued to smoke, thinking, mere ko kuch nahi hoga. So we need to actually do testimonials. And here I will say, not me, but the Akshay Kumars can only do this and no much and no more. You need smokers who've actually walked from smoking to non-smoking to tell their stories across media platforms. You see, you and I or Prashant Bhushan or Pankaj Chaturvedi discussing it on this, which is very laudable, and I have to thank Nitesh and Shubham. It's very laudable. But this message needs to go down to the grassroots. Just campaigns or wall paintings or hoardings will not be enough. So finally, to sum up, 4 things need to be done. Number 1, we need to make economic impossibilities in terms of affordability of all kinds of tobacco. Number 2, we need to make owners liable and responsible for health issues, means owners and consumers. Number 3, we need to create more awareness at the grassroots level through normal people. Because sometimes, you know, people don't believe film stars, saying ki, isko paisa mila hoga, you know, to communicate. Number 4, and this is where you come in, Anjali, is the media has to be far more responsible. Now the media also buckles because many of these tobacco companies are large advertisers. Now Prashant talked about dark categories. You know what the word they've invented now? They don't call it surrogate advertising. They call it trademark extension. I mean, it's the biggest racket on the planet. For God's sake, why would you have playing cards which are called Kingfisher beer? Or why would you have a bar set which neither Prashant nor you nor none of us can actually access in the market? It's not available. For years, we had Kingfisher Club Soda. So when the authorities are stupid enough to be mocked, someone like a Prashant Bhushan or a Supreme Court, well, not the Supreme Court anymore, but some court needs to take cognizance of the fact this is a mockery of the law.
Okay.
So 4 things, to my mind, need to be done.
Absolutely. Mr. Sohail Seth, you have said some things very plainly and some very important points. I just want to ask Dr. Shubham Garg if we have time for last comments from all the panelists.
We have, Anjali, we have. It's a wonderful discussion, please.
Okay, absolutely. Then I'll begin with you, Dr. Pankaj Chaturvedi. You know, since this entire conversation has gone to another side, I'm not going to get very medical with you. But do you think we can convince people themselves, as you, as doctor, whatever you experience, can convince people to leave smoking? Or is it the responsibility of the state to somehow make it difficult for them, as Mr. Sohail Seth is saying?
You're on mute. You need to unmute yourself, Pankaj.
So, Anjali, first we have to understand that tobacco is not a habit. It is, as per the International Classification of Disease, it is a mental health disorder under category F10. So what happens when you call it a habit, you are trying to belittle something by calling it a habit. But let me put it this way. Today, tuberculosis has got 0% mortality. Road traffic accident will have, say, small percentage of mortality. COVID has got a 4% mortality, but a smoker has got 30% mortality. So tell me, which is a bigger killer disease? Is it the smoking, which kills 30% of the people, or COVID, which kills only 4% of the people? Now, the problem here is that I consider people who are smokers as people who are victims of the industry. They are not victims of maybe a peer pressure or something, because they all started by the shrewd marketing tactics of the industry, which always targets the youth for their new recruits or new consumers, because this is the only industry in the world which kills every 3rd patron. So this industry is losing 1/3 of the patron. In India, it is losing 10 lakh people every year. To recruit and to remain profitable, who does it recruit? It recruits 7 to 18 years of age, and that is the Global Adult Tobacco Survey, which says that the age of initiation of tobacco in India is 16 to 17 years. That means I sympathize with the tobacco users as people who need our help, because
Okay.
they, like zombies. Even if those photographs which are my photographs which are there on the cigarette packets, Prashant knows how we bitterly fought it in the Supreme Court, how for pan masala gutka we bitterly fought in the Supreme Court. And my last word, which Suhail very nicely said, when will NDTV stop putting those pan masala ads which are surrogate for tobacco? Rajshri Pan Masala is all over NDTV.
I will have to tell Dr. Roy that.
And you know, drunken driving campaign was being sponsored by Diageo in NDTV.
Yes, it was. It was. I accept that you know, most of these campaigns are in fact as a CSR they started, and but we are trying to milk as much good from it, you know, as we can. If a message can be sent across with their money, that's what we are trying. But Dr. Gupta, you know, cessation of smoking, you worked a lot on this. Who do you think should be pulling up their socks? Because till now I'm hearing the industry, the players, tobacco players. Why not state? Why not government?
See, the government definitely has already made rules and regulations, but it is what important is, as Suhail had said very nicely, that it is the people, the power has to come in the people, right? They should be educated, right? Pankaj very well said, it is a disease. That is what I have always said, it is a disease. And we need to understand and bring that to the grassroots level. The teachers, you know, because the teachers are the biggest influencer, they need to be taught. And the most important is, people just think that, okay, I know that tobacco is bad, but understanding how bad it is, what is the pathology behind it, and whether it is treatable. You know, it is a treatable disease and it needs to be scientifically treated. And that is what I need to emphasize, that understand. So that is where our doctors come into pictures. You know, the doctors need to understand the skill of tobacco cessation. That is very important. And that is why we made this app, a systematic app, and made the whole things very simplified, so that it can percolate down to the every person, to the normal people, to the doctors, and to everywhere it needs to percolate down. As influencers in the society, you know, we need motivators. That's Suhail said, that every person has to be an influencer. Those people,
absolutely,
tobacco, they need to be influencers.
Absolutely. Information technology can help. But Mr. Bhushan, I have less time, so I'll take two very quick responses from you and Mr. Seth. I really want to know this genuinely, that if psychotropic drugs are such a menace and we ban them, and they only have some sort of an acute effect on human body, and till now we don't really see a long-term effect, any study saying that, oh, it'll cause cancer or anything like that, and they're frowned upon by society. Right now also we are seeing a campaign going on against drugs, and again, and those are currently, we hear about natural drugs. So why can't we do the same kind of thing for smoking? What is stopping us or the government?
Yeah, so you are right that psychotropic substances are banned, so why can't tobacco be banned? Of course, there is no earthly reason for banning something like marijuana, in my view, because that's not in the same class as other psychotropic drugs or many other psychotropic drugs. But one difference between a psychotropic drug and tobacco is psychotropic drugs can cause externalities, because it makes a person lose possession of himself, and therefore he can harm other people. See, every person has an absolute right to not to take any treatment for himself. So he can say, look, I don't want to be treated. I mean, people are talking about this universal COVID vaccine. A person has an indefeasible right to say, no, I don't want this vaccine. So, but one has to look at externalities. Now, the question is, does smoking have the same kind of externalities as psychotropic drugs? In some ways it does, because it can cause passive smoking. But suppose you restrict smoking only to your own home, etc., where, and you say, all right, you can't even expose your own family or your own children to it, then can somebody say, look, this is my life, and I have an absolute right to decide that even if I die of very painful cancer, I am willing to do that. That would be a very interesting question. But in my view, it can be banned because it does have externalities. The question is whether the ban would be effective, whether that's the best way forward. What we need to do is all those things that even Suhail mentioned. We need to make it much more expensive. We need to have licensing for vendors of tobacco, every kind of tobacco. And chewing tobacco is certainly a bigger menace in many ways than even cigarettes. And we need to enforce the laws on surrogate advertising. As he pointed out, we are making a mockery of the law which restricts even surrogate advertising. We are allowing every kind of surrogate advertising.
Absolutely. And that's why I'd like to throw that to you, Mr. Saif. You know, when we do these campaigns and when people come in for these campaigns, which are surrogate advertising, as you put it and said, NDTV does it, we have ministers coming in for it. We have very senior people coming for it. And nobody ever points it out that this is surrogate advertising and this is a platform that I should not be seen as a public representative. So is it just the company, media company's fault, or maybe someone else also should?
I think, Anjali, you're attributing too much of brilliance to some really incompetent, intellectually innocent people who are also called ministers. So, you know, I don't much care for the intellectual heft of the present government and its ministers. They would go anywhere they're invited to, even for the launch of a fire hydrant. So let's pass that. I think there are two important points to consider here. Number one, is it politically manipulative as a category? It is. These people suck dry the tobacco companies. And when I say tobacco companies, I mean all kinds of tobacco companies. They're large contributors to the politics. The farmer base in Guntur or the farmer base of tobacco farmers across India is a very viable, valuable proposition for these people. I think, and this to my mind, and I'm saying this with all passion and seriousness, Anjali, we can either end this as yet another panel discussion or actually request, and I say this out of admiration and out of a lot of respect that I've had over the years for Prashant, that Prashant actually uses this as a platform and as a leaping point to once again reinstate within the courts of India that we cannot allow health to be played around in such a way, especially when we've learned the cost of healthcare during the pandemic. I'm saying strategically use the pandemic to show the world that because we've been incognizant, we've not been aware or we've not been careful of ramping up our health infrastructure, look at the damage that we are doing to our economy. Look at the damage that we are doing to our society. That's on the one hand. And finally, as I said earlier, you need a mass real campaign. You don't need a campaign which says, you know, as he said, skulls and bones. No, the smoker doesn't even look at that part because he wants to ignore the realities. You have to make it meaningful. You have to appeal emotionally to the fact that he has a child, the fact that he has family, and make it economically impossible for him to survive. I will end by saying it is a travesty of justice that this government, and you know, when GST happened, they said something called a sin tax for luxury products. Tobacco is not sin. It's a death tax. You know, what we have to do is then tax companies so highly that it is not worth their while to be in the tobacco business. That's the only way you can, you know, completely jeopardize their life story. Otherwise, otherwise it'll be, sorry to use it in front of doctors, it'll be operation successful, patient dead.
Right. Against very strong words. And though I must say that, you know, if we don't have the ministers, no job will be done. So maybe it's something we do need them, sir. Anyway, thank you very much, all of you, for joining in this conversation. And I think, at least for me, because I came in with this whole idea that maybe smoking should be banned, but I'm pleased to see that most of the panelists believe that banning is not the solution. It is awareness, educating people. Thank you very much. Now, I'd like to invite Dr. D. Behra to give his address.
Can we switch on the camera for Dr. Behra, please?
Yes, the distinguished panel, Sri Akshay Kumar ji, the members of the Executive Committee of the Indian Society for Study of Lung Cancer, the members of the society, Dr. Harish Chaturvedi, Dr. Shubham Gar, ladies and gentlemen. It is my proud privilege to welcome you all to this inaugural function, and with such a nice discussion and deliberation on tobacco use as it is afflicting the country and the world over. While in many developed countries, the things are coming down, I should say coming down. In our country, it is not so, and I think all the distinguished guests had discussed it very well, so I am not going into that. I'll just give you some figure about lung cancer, since it is a conference on lung cancer. You know, lung cancer is the commonest form of cancer in the world. As per the latest report of Global Cancer Report, nearly 2 million cases of lung cancer were reported in 2018. And out of that, 1.8 million people died in the same year. You know, meaning thereby, you see, almost majority of them died within a year. That is what is the fatality of this disease. Now coming to our country, you know, in early days, in 40s, 50s, lung cancer was considered to be extremely rare condition. But as the time went on, you know, it was reported from all over the country, and now, you know, as of this date, it is the second commonest cancer amongst males, following the oropharyngeal cancer, and it is the fourth commonest cancer when you combine both males and females. It is again the second commonest cause of death in case of males, and the fifth commonest cause of cancer death in females, and in combined it is the third commonest cause. You know, just last month, the ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research, they released their cancer registry data of all types of cancer. In India, you know, about 1.3 million cases of cancer was reported in 2000 as of 2016, and then it is expected by 2025 the number will be rising to about 1.5 million cases of overall cancer, I'm trying to say. So if you see lung, and in many of the registries, both population based as well as hospital based, lung cancer is now the #1 cancer in case of males, at least in Delhi and Bombay, surpassing the oropharyngeal cancer. So that is what is the seriousness of this problem. Now, actually, to tackle this problem of lung cancer, you know, this Society of Indian Society for Study of Lung Cancer was established in 2005. The idea was to bring together all the people, the pulmonologist, the oncologist, medical oncologist, radiation oncologist, oncosurgeons, the researchers, the nursing professionals, what we call the onco nursing people, the researchers, and then the public health opinion makers, like, you know, you just heard about the smoking, which is a very, very important cause. About 27% of the cancer in this country are tobacco related, whether it is in the form of smoking or in the form of chewing. So that is what is the so we all become together, and this is the 10th year. Our main idea is to, as I told you, to bring forth everybody. Unfortunately, what is happening, it is, you know, there are so many specialties are involved in this. The patient comes to the pulmonologist first, he makes the diagnosis, he goes either to the oncologist, to the surgeon, or radiotherapist. The another tragic fact about lung cancer is that, you know, about 95% of these cases, they present in a very advanced stage by the time they're first diagnosed. That is another tragic fact about lung cancer. So the early diagnosis is very, very important. Many advances have taken place over the last 7-8 years than what we call the targeted therapy or the personalized therapy. That means many, things have come up that what we call the mutations have been identified, the immunotherapy has come up, newer advances in the radiotherapy techniques have come up. But only issue is the such drugs, such therapies are very, very costly. That is what we discussed in detail. So what we are doing in this country, there are a lot of progress has been made about the cancer. I think the point here is the unfortunate part is we always create a problem and then you try to solve it rather than preventing the problem. Here we are creating the problem by smoking and other things. And then we are fighting which, the oncologist will do this thing, pulmonologist, and how to do it. It is this much is the cost, targeted therapy, this much cost, immunotherapy. So that is a very unfortunate, human behavior, I should say. Whether it is this, that is a societal behavior. That is, we create the problem and then try to find out a solution and keep on finding. But I think what I was talking about, the facilities in this country, there are many, advanced centers, the Tata Memorial Center, the many centers in the country, in fact, are very extremely nice centers. And then again, I think I will be the society, our ISLC, apart from holding these annual conferences every year. Earlier it was every 2 years. So now we are doing it every year, thinking and knowing the members. We have got 451 registered members of this society from India. And then, the lung cancer care, you see, you'll be very happy. The honorable members and the participants will be very happy to know that last year, the India, that is the PGI Chandigarh, the pulmonary medicine department, which is actually that is the center of this lung cancer movement, we got the best lung cancer care award for Asia and the rest of the world region as an institute which is doing the overall best cancer care in the world in the field of lung cancer. That is a very good thing for the country. But again, as I told you, many of our patients are still very advanced stage. And then at the end, I'll just try to end saying that, as citizens of what should be our responsibility, I think apart from these voices, which I think people like Prashant Bhushanji, Suhail Sethji, and then Dr. Chaturvedi, Dr. Gupta, and obviously we have a panel of very good oncosurgeons, radiotherapists in this country. We should all come together and then fight against this cancer. And as citizens, I think I'll just tell you one line story. Even when we see lung cancer patients, you'll just ask. He was a smoker. He'll ask, Dr. Saab, मैं तो ज्यादा देर और बच नहीं पाऊंगा. मैं थोड़ा स्मोकिंग करने से कोई मुश्किल तो नहीं है. Even at that stage, people say कि डॉक्टर साहब मैं थोड़ा स्मोकिंग कंटिन्यू करूँ तो कोई मुश्किल तो नहीं है. That is what is it is such a habit, such a kick it gives to the person who smokes. Even he is dying, he'll tell to you, Dr. साहब मैं 1-2 कर लूं, मैं 10 कर रहा हूँ, 10 तो पी रहा था, अभी 8 पी लूं, 5 पी लूं. It is that type of thing when he is even in his deathbed. So that is what is the menace of smoking. And with this, I again congratulate, I should say, Dr. Harit Chaturvedi and Shubham. They have organized an extremely, it is one of the best lung cancer conferences that I am associated with this ISLC's movement since its inception. And I have started, because basically I am a pulmonologist working at PGI. So that was, I started my career and my interest with lung cancer. And I am very happy that this has grown, and I think nearly 1,500 participants are taking part in this conference today. I think if the message goes to everybody and at least part to the scientific society, it will be a great success. So thank you very much. And I wish all the best to the Max Healthcare team and Dr. Chaturvedi and Dr. Garg for all the success. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Doctor. I'm just surprised to hear that lung cancer was a rare disease. Thank you very much, Doctor, for that information. Now, there is a recorded message by the MD and Chairman of Max Healthcare, Mr. Abhay Soy, that we are going to play now.
All delegates from the medical fraternity who have logged in. This is the first national level cancer conference Max is hosting since the pandemic paralyzed the world. We believe that with our new identity and a commitment, we would lead the new face of healthcare. As the scars from the pandemic fade, we will take forward several innovations and quite a few accelerations which would finally serve humanity in a much better way. The digital platform and virtual connectivity are two fantastic examples of this. The pandemic also brought center stage the much required support and attention required towards healthcare. We need to fill in glaring gaps in the healthcare infrastructure for which public-private partnership in several innovative ways is the way forward. We at Max decided to put all our might to serve the society through this pandemic, and in doing so, we built our own strength, which has prepared us for future. We now have over 1,100 beds dedicated to COVID-19, where we have already treated more than 9,000 COVID patients. Further, we have served over 300 mild COVID-19 patients through home care services and hospital-managed partner hotels. In addition, we were one of the first private sector labs to start COVID-19 testing and have conducted over 70,000 tests, the first successful convalescent plasma treatment for COVID-19 in India, and are conducting 40 research projects related to COVID-19. During the COVID crisis, Max Institute of Cancer Care, MICC, stood out in continuing their work. It's remarkable that they performed over 1,500 surgeries in the first 4 months of the pandemic. This is the highest number in Northern India for any hospital group. Also, with the initiative of Dr. Ramandeep Singh, our pediatric oncologist, and support of CanKids, we ensured the treatment of 25 pediatric cancer patients who were at government hospitals in entirely uninterrupted manner. The Thoracic Disease Management Group of MICC brought this annual conference of ISSLC to Max Healthcare by the initiative of Dr. Shubham Garg, which was so well supported by Dr. Nitish Rohtgi, Dr. Charu Garg, Shubham Singh, Sajjan Rajpurohit, and the rest of the team. At MICC, we focus on the DMG model with a dedicated group of clinicians that not just improves patient care, but also aligns with our core values and helps achieve excellence, efficiency, and consistency, and helps us achieve our mission to serve, to excel. We see today an extremely successful conference with record-breaking registrations and participation. I'm told there are over 1,000 registrations, 12 international faculty representing the best in the world and the who's who from India, over 160 faculty and 32 hours of discussion on lung cancer. This is a wonderful example of the possibilities if a group of people join hands and set big goals. I'm extremely proud of their work and commitment. Thank you all.
Well, that was the message from Mr. Soy. Now, I'd like to invite Dr. Harit Chaturvedi for MICC and the way forward, sir.
Anjali, thank you very much. I think without doubt, 2020 will be remembered for the global pandemic, and in several ways, we'll see a new world, a completely new world out there. However, for us at Max Healthcare, this has been really a turning point because we have launched our new identity, our new logo. We have come out very boldly against the pandemic, war, and much upfront in the top line. And this kind of initiative really energizes all the players in the game. So for us in oncology world, actually, there are a lot of other things that happened. In fact, this is the year when in the economically developed countries, cancer has taken over mortality from cardiac causes. In fact, cancer is now the #1 leading cause of death in developed high-income group countries. And it shows a trend, how we will land up, where we'll land up in no time. So we have to really watch out, be cautious. In fact, you look at the global trend now, world data, almost 26% of mortality is because of cancer. So it is in no uncertain terms, another pandemic in the happening. And we are very much aware of that and aligned, and therefore at Max Oncology or Max Institute of Cancer Care, we have really realigned and refocused how to deliver the modern oncology service. So as we step into our second decade, in the first decade, we have walked into the second decade with 100+ oncologists. more importantly, we have laid a foundation we can put together 1,000 dreams. And this is where our strength lies. We have created a structure, a model which ensures that 1,000 oncologists can come together and collaborate and create a new opportunity. And this opportunity of scale leads to new things happening around us. And that is what we are looking forward to. As our chairman alluded to, that the DMG model ensures aligns with our vision of excellence, of efficiency, of passion, and also consistency. This also gives us an opportunity to have all the stakeholders into the room when we discuss about each case. It brings in objective information for good decision making. Latest skill, latest knowledge gets incorporated in every treatment plan, and that is the crux of the whole healthcare all about, and oncology is all about. So rapidly evolving space where so many collaborators from radiology, pathology, molecular, immuno, medical, radiation, all have to work together. So this is a very complex treatment plan, which is possible only by focused teams and working together. If I look at it, the effort of what we see today at NALCICON 2020, it's a handful of MICC and so to say, from thoracic DMG, which have put up a wonderful show. They have worked day and night over the last 3 months to bring this to us. In fact, few of our colleagues are putting out weekly shows or weekly webinars like Cancer Academy, the focus studies on breast cancer, eye care, so many things. And this shows the kind of energy which is flowing around in this team. The kind of dedication and discipline is quite infectious and very empowering. Besides the DMG, we have other 5 pillars like the Balanced Scorecard, Clinical Admin Forum, IT Highway, Research Academics, Patient Care. All these are at different stages of execution. Having said that, over the last 3 months, we have evolved a model, we adopted rather, an OKR model, Objectives and Key Results model, as a version which helps us bring all these things weave together in one framework. And as we empower that and execute that, I'm sure that we'll see speed of execution in all these things coming together and sharing of a platform which puts the team together into one direction and one goal. And that is, I think, will be a great turning point as we step into 2020, from 2020 to 2021. Because as we say, 2020 will be almost wiped out the way pandemic is consuming all of us. To ensure, and this also ensures that everybody has an important role to play. We all realize that cancer is a formidable challenge. Having said that, I believe that all of us in oncology, at Max, outside Max, will rise to the challenge, are continuously collaborating and working together. NALCICON is a wonderful example. Likewise, so many places we see, we work with different institutions, organizations to make sure that we deliver together what is best for our people. Having said all that, I think the opportunity is making sure that each one of us, each person, the young, the old, every person is able to contribute and finds a place under the sun to shine. And that is what I believe is the most important thing for us to ensure that each one of us gets a chance. So before I conclude, I want to really thank the Society of Lung Cancer, Dr. Behra, Dr. Navneet Singh, and the other members of the executive committee for trusting us and giving us this opportunity. I'm very humbly proud to say that I'm very proud of this thoracic DMG team to put together such a wonderful show. And it's very, very inspiring to see them commit to such excellence. It shows their hunger to continuously come together, to collaborate and to perform and to put such a wonderful show. It has a stamp of Nitesh, Shubham, Sajjan, all this across the program, in the inaugural, everywhere you see the stamp of their work together. So I think this is what will take us where we want to be. So thank you very much, all delegates. I hope you have a good time and enjoy yourself over the next 3 days. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chaturvedi. And since you mentioned his name, I think it's time to call Dr. Shubham Garg now to deliver the vote of thanks.
So thank you, Anjali, for doing this for us. I think we first need to thank you for hosting this 1 hour special for us. And I must say that the organizing team strength can be seen that we are only 3 minutes late in finishing today's day. We were supposed to finish at 8 and we managed to get 3 international speakers in. We were able to get Akshay Kumar in, and we were able to fit everybody in, and we are still 3 minutes late. But as Dr. Harit said, we need to thank the Indian Society for Study for Lung Cancer and the executive committee for agreeing to allow us to do this in a virtual format. This is new for us also, and this is going to be the way forward for at least the next 1 year, the conferences are going to be this way. And we have tried to showcase what a good team can do, and what Dr. Harit mentioned about it just not being about me. It's not just about being Nitesh. It's not about being Sajjan, but we are a team of 100 people who are working day and night to get this thing across. And this conference is just one example of that. I want to emphasize that I am very thankful that we were able to put this 1 hour special where we could get non-doctors involved into the management of lung cancer, because believe me, doctors are doing the best they can do in the management of lung cancer. Now we need the society to stand up, and people like Prashant Bhushan, people like Sohail Seth, and people like Akshay Kumar to hold the banner of promoting cancer treatment in India, within India, and they have to set an example by themselves seeking treatment in India, within India, unlike some of our people in authority do when they travel outside. I want to also thank all our international faculty who are joining it from different time zones. You will not believe we actually sent them invites in Indian Standard Time, and all of them calculated what time to log in. And we felt ashamed that they asked whether they are joining at the right time or not, but that was an oversight on our part. But I assure you, today was just 25% of the conference. There are 3 more still days where we are going to cover the more important ones. Tomorrow is going to be the localized cancer. The next weekend is going to be about metastatic and how we can manage the symptoms. So I want to thank everybody. There's a big backend team led by Sonali, Mr. Girish Quotra, Zia, who are all bringing this to us. And thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. And we'll have a much more productive day tomorrow as well. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Anjali. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night, Anjali. Thank you.
Thank you. Get well.